Hi, everyone, and thank you for tuning into this week's episode of Motivational Moments with Deb Cottle. I really appreciate you tuning in. Sorry we had to start a little late today, but at least this episode will stay on the page and also it will be uploaded to my YouTube channel called Deb Cottle. I wanted to talk today about the impact of having a formula to follow to help stay motivated for more than a day. There are so many motivational speakers out there, authors. There are so many programs, people telling you what to do, how to do it, and it's overwhelming. I don't know about you, but I have gone to so many different seminars and workshops and live events and you name it, and tried to learn as much as I could from other motivational speakers and celebrities and anybody that could impart what their success stories are and what they have done to become successful, where they learn their tips and techniques. But what I have found over the years is that whatever you're studying from whoever you're listening to or watching, it seems to wear off after a while. You could stay motivated for a day, you could stay motivated for maybe a few weeks, maybe even a month. But don't you feel like some of those techniques that you've learned, you forget them or you just don't do them anymore and it loses its impact. So, what I have done and have done in quite a few years is I developed a program called the Four-Step Guts Formula. And I have used this formula for many years. I have taught it, I have coached it, I have been on stages all over the country promoting and talking about this four-step process so that I can help other people stay motivated for more than a day. So that if they could learn specific tools and techniques that are easy, maybe not simple to do because it's hard to stay in a routine, but I can almost guarantee you if you just do these four things on a regular basis, it will help your attitude, it will help keep you motivated, and I really think that you can become more successful by just doing these four things. It's worked for me. It has worked for many of my customers and clients, and I have spoken on many stages about this. So I feel pretty confident in this procedure. And because of the short time we have to work together today, I'm just going to give you the highlights. And then, if you want to know more, I am going to be developing a five-part, sort of like an online course, and take each step and to go into much more detail about each step and what you can do and how you can develop those things that we're going to talk about in a few minutes so that you have a framework for success, a daily routine of tasks that can help you stay motivated for more than a day. So, let me give you the highlights and then reach out to me if you want to talk more about that or if you want to sign up for the upcoming online event. But basically, the four step guts formula, it's a play on the word guts. And I felt that it was easy for me to remember, four steps. How hard can that be? Just take the letters, GUTS, and develop a program around that. So it's easy to remember and it's easy to do once you know the steps. This isn't anything, quite honestly, new and revolutionary because I've been studying the success traits of successful people for years. And I realized that kind of everybody says the same things when it all is said and done. They just have different ways of approaching it. They have different ways of putting a title to it or a formula. But it all boils down to I'm really serious about this. It boils down to four things. Number one, the G stands for gain knowledge. I'm a firm believer that whatever you're involved in, whether it's your hobby or your career or even your nonprofit work, whatever it is, I feel that you're going to feel better about yourself if you become an expert in that field. If you continue to take classes in that particular genre, whether it's something that you're interested in as a hobby, whether this is your career, taking more classes, becoming credentialed, um, going to like I said, conventions, taking webinars, anything that you can get your hands on, being very involved in associations that relate to your industry. It is something that you can't put a price tag on it. I I have probably excelled in my career in Chicago in the television and advertising industry because of the visibility that I had in that genre and in that industry in Chicago, because I was involved with any and all organizations that had to do with either advertising or TV production. I became president of um, the Advertising Women of Chicago, and I felt like that organization and my exposure and what I've learned from other top people in my industry, especially women, I learned so much that it propelled me to become an expert in my field. And it also gave me credentials that I would not have normally had because I was exposed to people because of my volunteer work, because of my ability to network within this organization and to be on the board and then work my way up to becoming president. That was so important for me and my career in Chicago. Once I moved to Florida 25 years ago, about 17 years ago, I got my real estate license because I really felt passionate about helping people transition to island living because I did it. I was a corporate executive in Chicago and quit my job, and my family, we moved here to Amelia Island, and we just have never looked back. But it was quite the transition. And I just feel like the exposure that I had had in Chicago with that career was easily transferable to being involved in organizations locally, nationally, and internationally, whether it's in real estate or communications, marketing, and all those kinds of things. So I just kind of moved those credentials over and then expanded the credentials and kept getting other credentials in the field so that I can feel more confident in my abilities. I can become an expert in my field, which is the luxury market, and working with people moving here and having a transitional effect. There's a lot of things that are involved with making a move, as you know. So, anyway, I don't want to belabor it because we don't have a lot of time to go into it, but I help people, whether it's through coaching, through online programs, or being on stage, help them make transitions, help them decide and investigate areas where they can gain more knowledge in their specific hobby or their specific niche in business or nonprofit work. I work with those to help develop that. The second tip and technique is the U of the GUTS formula, which is use positive affirmations. Psychologists say that probably 70% of the things that we talk about, whether we're talking to someone else or we're talking to ourselves, are either negative or self defeating and less positive. We beat ourselves up. We say things without even thinking about it. I'm not good enough. I don't have enough experience. I'm not good at math. I'm not worthy. I'm not tall enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not healthy enough. All those kinds of statements that we say to ourselves and the things that we broadcast to other people, they make an imprint on our conscious mind. And I do believe, and there's research has shown, that whatever you put out there, you attract. So if you're going to be saying negative things, you're going to attract more negative things into your life and into your environment. So you don't want to do that. So I work with people to help develop better self talk, customize affirmations, and then you practice them on a daily basis. There's a lot to it, but I'm just giving you the highlights. So the third step, which is the T of the GUTS formula, is train your thoughts. The National Science Foundation has researched and has, in many journals, told us that we think over 60,000 thoughts a day. Now, they also claim that we think a positive about half the time. So that's 30,000 thoughts. Now, if we could convert some of those 30,000 thoughts that are less positive and maybe more negative, then I think we're going to be better off with our thinking. We don't want to have stinking thinking. We want to be able to control those thoughts that are working against us. And a lot of it is our upbringing or things that were said to us by well meaning parents and well meaning teachers. And so we think about things that were said to us and we have this mind chatter about it. And sometimes it's hard to control and it's hard to change. But I teach people techniques on how to frame your thoughts better, how to think better thoughts, and techniques to stop those negative thought patterns. So that's part of the formula. The last step is the S, which is in the GUTS formula. That is set realistic goals and then visualize them already happening. We've been hearing about goals for how long? And goals are great. I think it's important to set small goals, medium goals, pie in the sky goals. I think they're all important in their own right. But I think it starts with setting realistic goals on a daily basis where you feel that when you accomplish a goal that you feel good about it. You feel good about yourself, you feel good about your accomplishment, and then you're ready to go to the next day and do a goal for that day or 5 goals or whatever you feel that you can handle. And if you don't accomplish that goal that day, you move it to the next one. But there's so much about goal setting that is documented and researched that I talk to people about so that you can actually feel better about setting those goals, realizing them, but most importantly, visualizing them that they've already been accomplished. Because the subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between something that you think or say, that it doesn't know if it's the past, the present, or the future. So when you are setting a goal, and maybe what you're doing when you're talking about it, when you're thinking about it, your subconscious mind doesn't know. So it's going to reflect back to you in your life that what you are already programming yourself. So it's really important when you set those goals to visualize it already happening so that the subconscious mind kind of gets tricked into thinking, well, she already is doing that. Well, let's support her in that. Let's bring her other opportunities that reflect what she said she has already done. So those are the 4 steps of the GUTS formula. And I want to encourage you to practice them and to have some sort of daily routine where you keep yourself in check on those 4 areas. You know, am I learning more? Am I gaining more knowledge? Am I using positive statements, whether I'm saying them to myself or to others? And if not, how can I change that? What am I thinking? Am I having stinking thinking? How can I change that? And you can. And also, what goals are you setting for yourself? And then are you visualizing them already happening? So, in a nutshell, that's the 4-step GUTS formula. I'm going to be discussing this a little bit in more depth at the Yulee Library next week on Tuesday night at 6 o'clock. And you're welcome to join us. It's going to be a small, intimate group. I'm really looking forward to it because I love doing things on a local level. It is located in the college there, FSCJ. So that's 6 o'clock next week on Tuesday night at the library. I'm also developing a 5-part online course about the 4-step GUTS formula so you can get more in-depth training about that 4-step process and to really customize things for yourself that are relevant to your own lives and your own situation. So I'm really excited about that. So stay tuned. And if you need help with any of those 4 steps or you want to talk about a coaching program or package, happy to do that as well. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to talk to you every week. It's important to me, and I really appreciate all of you. And I love to hear your comments and your suggestions anytime. Thank you, and I'll talk to you next week.